Hi everyone, if this is your first time watching one of these videos, thank you for joining me today. And if you have been following along with this video series, welcome back to another IELTS preparation video. I'm Joanne, and today I'm going to talk to you about the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Today I will focus on part 1 of the exam, and our topic is culture and society. As I have said in previous videos, the speaking exam lasts roughly 15 minutes and is split into 3 parts: the interview section, the individual long-term section, and the two-way discussion section. Remember to check out the other videos in this series for more information on the exam itself, marking criteria, exam tips and useful phrases, as well as example questions and model answers. Part 1 of the exam is the interview section. This section lasts roughly 5 minutes. In this part of the exam, the examiner asks the candidate general questions on some familiar topics, for example, food and health. As I mentioned, our topic today is culture and society. This part of the test focuses on the candidate's ability to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences or situations by answering a range of questions. Let's take a look at some vocabulary that will help you talk about culture and society. These pairings, called collocations, sound natural to native speakers, even though other words could be used. Can you match the beginning to the end? I suggest you pause the video here to make a note of your answers. Let's check the answers. First, we have cultural heritage. Secondly, we have outstanding natural beauty. And finally, we have World Heritage Site. How many did you get right? I suggest trying to create some sentences with the new vocabulary in them. Remember to share your answers in the comments. Let's take a look at some more vocabulary. Your task is the same as before. Try to match the words to create the collocations. So, your words are: number 1, annual; number 2, a lot of; number 3, historical. I suggest that you pause the video now to make a note of your answers. Here are the answers. Number 1, annual festival. Number 2, a lot of rituals. Number 3, historical significance. Have you seen any of these before? I suggest pausing the video now to make a note of any you got wrong or found difficult. Now, let's take a look at our first example question for today. Your question is, what is an important festival in your country? And the example answer is, an important festival in my country is New Year. I think it is the most important one because most people return to their hometown to see their families. We often visit the graves of our ancestors to pray too. That's a solid and 6th answer. As I mentioned in previous videos, one of the marking criteria is lexical resource, or the candidate's vocabulary and how well they use it. So, considering this idea, how do you think we could improve our answer? Here you can see the marking criteria for a Band 7 answer. As you can see, you can make some inappropriate choices, but you should be able to use vocabulary flexibly and use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary. You can find all of the marking criteria on the IELTS website, so I'll share a link to that in the comments. Let's take another look at the question. Remember, the question is, what is an important festival in your country? As you can see, I changed think to would say, and I added in it's great. Remember, don't use words just because you think they are difficult. Only use them if you can use them correctly. Let's take a look at our second question for today. And the question is, What festival is most important to you personally? And the example answer is, to me personally, the most important festival is New Year. I live quite far away from my family, so I always look forward to going back to see them. Also, my mother makes some very tasty New Year dishes. New Year reminds me of happy times when I was a child. Considering the idea of lexical resource, what do you think we could do in order to improve this answer? Remember, the question was, what festival is most important to you personally? As you can see, I added in, don't get to see my family as much as I would like to because and I added in, is a great cook and she. Let's take a look at the third question for today. So the question is, are traditional festivals as important as they used to be in your country? And the example answer is, I'm not exactly sure, but I think they probably are at least equally important. Maybe they're even more important, because companies advertise their products around the time of festivals. This means that children in particular become very excited about upcoming festivals. So, how do you think we could improve this answer? Remember, the question was, are traditional festivals as important as they used to be in your country? As you can see, I added "to be honest" at the start of the answer, and I also added in, this creates a great deal of awareness. What changes did you think of making? Remember to share your ideas in the comments section. Let's take a look at our fourth and final question for today. So, our question is, are any modern or foreign festivals gaining popularity? And the sample answer is, I think Halloween is gaining popularity in my country. When I was a child, we didn't know much about it, and nobody celebrated it, at least in my hometown. These days, Halloween parties have become quite common among children and adults, and pubs and restaurants have Halloween-themed events. So, considering lexical resource, what do you think we could do to improve this answer? Remember, the question was, are modern or foreign festivals gaining popularity? As you can see, I changed "didn't know much about it" to "were not familiar with it." And I added in "which are quite fun" to the end of the answer. So what ideas did you come up with? Here are all the questions from today's video. First we had, what is an important festival in your country? Then we went through, what festival is most important to you personally? And then we moved on to, are traditional festivals as important as they used to be in your country? And finally, we looked at, are any modern or foreign festivals gaining popularity? I suggest that you make a note of these questions so that you can practice them at home. Remember to record your answers and check your answers against the marking criteria and have a think about what you can do to improve your answers.